most severely flooded communities is Rock Valley, Iowa. This is drone footage from the Sioux County Sheriff's Office in Rock Valley. 13 members of the Urban Search and Rescue Team were deployed to that area earlier this morning with multiple boats.
See homes with mangled garage doors, washed out basements, and these faded red tags. The flood also left businesses and homeowners with overwhelming messes to clean up. Just a couple of the structures hit hard were first impressions.
And I got up and I looked out of the window, and I mean, there was water everywhere. It was like a river in our backyard.
And I just remember not being able to breathe and panicking. And for the next 12 hours, we sat and watched or listened to the trauma going on at home. As they were walking out, it took a half an hour to go 2 blocks in the rushing current. And there were families also trying to walk out. And they picked up the little kids and put them in the canoe to continue going because mom and dad couldn't do it anymore.
Talk about it now, it's almost surreal. Like it was this panicking feeling, like running for your life. I think Ryan went back to get your medications, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And but then he said he came back and he said things are not good. You know, I want you to be prepared.
You could see the water lines on the door, and it was so deep that it was in the bottoms of the upper cupboards.
Yeah.
So it was 5.5 feet on the main floor. You saw everything that you had invested in, personal items, your furniture. The refrigerator was laying on its back in the kitchen. The washing machine was flipped on its side. The power of water was incredible.
One of those moments in life where there is really no careful plotted plan. You just do what you feel like you need to do. And it was pretty much chaos, that whole area. Of course, there were lots of payloaders and trucks, and there were a lot of people who came to help even on that very first day. Family. So, and then for us anyway, and it was true for a lot of others, that whole next week was just a blur.
One of the hardest things, I think, was 2 years prior, we had moved my oldest son downstairs to the main floor because he was dying of cancer, and we needed him on the main floor. Mm-hmm. And all of his stuff was in his room. Mm-hmm. And all of the stuff that he had acquired 5 years during his journey, and we lost most of that. Mm-hmm. And just memories of him. That was really hard. It was our home, and it was violated, and it was dirty, and it was not livable, and everything that we had invested into it just was gone so fast.
Yeah, I'll never forget stepping foot in the house for the first time. Mm-hmm. Slopping through the mud. Tears welling up. Questions, where do we go from here? Picking up the mud, everything, the junk pails, trays, throwing it on the pile outside. You think of 78 years. Well, it was my birthday, actually. It was my 77th birthday on that Sunday when I went into the house. And I thought, yeah, like, where do we go from here?
On the one hand, I recognize that the library, which was a fairly extensive library that I had built up over the many years of being in pastoral ministry, books are books, replaceable. But down in the basement, there were a lot of, I had 2 cabinets full of sermon notes, just a lot of important documents, all of which was totally lost. So there were pieces of your life, your legacy, your history, and to somehow come to the point where you make your peace with the fact it's gone, and it's not something you can recover or retrieve. It's gone. That probably is one of those more difficult mental aspects of this journey. It's hard to reconstruct. I'm not sure that I even want to try and figure out what this loss amounts to from a psychological point of view. I think much of it is eclipsed by the present battle with cancer. And so I don't have, in a sense, the luxury of even spending a lot of time and energy, because most of my time and energy is spent with this battle right now. So
the sudden shock of all of it, not having a place to go home to, so being homeless, caused me, actually, which we discovered in December, so 4 months later, that was depression. And I was struggling to continue with every day. So I sought help. I couldn't find joy. I couldn't find joy at all. And I never felt like that before in my life.
The city tells us that FEMA is going to provide money eventually to have a buyout, but we have no idea. It's been a year and a half, and we don't know. Waiting to see if we're going to get finances in that whole picture.
And it just breaks your heart for where people are still sitting. The FEMA trailers are going to be removed, or the people have to be out of them.
Flooding. Rock Valley residents have started to see FEMA trailers popping up, which has brought tears to some residents' eyes. Just last week, Rock Valley officials announced the arrival of the first FEMA trailer, the first of many to come.
And then with the new trailer park being built, they're hoping to have at least 77 up there.
Before the end of the year, Van Otterloo expects between 100 and 120.
And many of them have no place to go. And I'm so thankful for where God has brought us today. But I just know that it's not over, and there are so many people that still need homes, that still need a place to go, and they can't until FEMA decides what they're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
It's hard to go back, and so many memories are attached to places. you have the memories yet. But Isaac, you've talked about that, right? The memories that you had in that house and how it affects everybody. See, it just didn't affect us. It affects our whole family, and the sadness of that. You know, the memories of running around in that house and putting a hole in the wall in the basement, and right? I mean, just so many things, and so it's hard to let go of that when you know. I mean, you take the memories with you, right? We still have the memories in our heart, but it's just still hard. There's sometimes when it's still overwhelming, mentally, emotionally, because it's still standing, and so it's the waiting, wondering,